The world has always been in love with Michael Jackson. His voice, his movements, his magic on stage. Everything about him felt unreal, as if he came from another planet to remind us of wonder. But every genius pays a price. Neverland, a private ranch in California, built by Michael Jackson, wasn't just a home. It was his refuge, his personal paradise, his attempt to build the world he never had as a child. There were carousels, a zoo, a private movie theater. Children laughed, ran around, and lived inside a fairy tale. From the outside, it was a dreamland. But within Neverland, there was one place no one talked about. The second floor. Locked, sealed, mysterious. The lost childhood. To understand why that second floor mattered so much to Michael, we need to go back to his childhood. He was just a child when he first stepped on stage with his brothers in the Jackson 5. A harsh schedule, constant touring, and the pressure from his father stripped him of the most precious thing, a normal childhood. I didn't have friends. I was always rehearsing. No games, no school, no freedom, only lights and expectations. He didn't grow up in the real world, but in the spotlight. The world he built. That's why, when he became an adult, he created Neverland. Like Peter Pan, he wanted to remain a child, at least on the inside. He surrounded himself with the joy, laughter, and love he had been deprived of. But even in that world, where everything breathed fairy tale, there was one area off limits, the second floor of the main house, a hidden room. Rumors spread, some dark, others bizarre. But the truth may have been far more human and far more beautiful. Paris speaks. Years later, his daughter Paris, who grew up at Neverland, finally broke the silence. When I was little, I didn't even know we had a second floor. It was always closed, always. To her, it was a forbidden place, a mystery, a door that even her loving father never opened. Not because he had something to hide, but because he had something to protect. A creative sanctuary. In reality, the second floor was not a vault of secrets. It was a sanctuary of sound, a sacred space, not for hiding, but for creating. There were mirrors, music setups, dance floors, notebooks full of lyrics. No gold, no scandal, only rhythm, sweat, and silence. I work at night. When the world is asleep, I start to create. That's where he rehearsed the iconic moves for Smooth Criminal, Billie Jean, and Dangerous. That's where he recorded vocals over and over, until they were perfect. The perfectionist Michael was known to make his musicians replay a single note dozens of times. He heard what others couldn't. He moved like no one else. Music isn't just sound, it's emotion. To capture that emotion, he needed peace. A space where no one watched, where he could be imperfect, uncertain, obsessive. That space was the second floor. The loneliness of a genius. But there was more, something deeply personal. Despite being surrounded by fans, Michael often felt painfully alone. That second floor was not just a studio, it was a shelter, a space where he could cry, pray, remember the pain of his childhood, and face the constant attacks from the media. It was a place where he talked to himself, to God, to the music. More than a star, a father. Paris remembers that, at home, her father wasn't a superstar.
He would be in the studio and he'd look outside and he'd see kids on the playground, and he couldn't do that. And he didn't want that for us, so we wore masks. And I appreciated it. It was nice, because we were able to go to like Chuck E. Cheese and Circus, and we could be normal.
He was just dad. He made sandwiches, told stories, and organized little picnics. He adored his children and did everything to give them a different kind of life. He loved us with all his heart. He protected us from the outside world. And perhaps he never let them on the second floor because he wanted to keep that line sacred, so that his kids could be kids, while he, behind that locked door, could wrestle with the weight of the world and try to light it up again. The truth behind the door. Now that he's gone, we still ask, who was Michael? A genius? A recluse? A wounded soul? But maybe Paris said it best. The second floor was where he could be himself. No mask, no applause. Just dad. just Michael. The legacy. He may have been misunderstood, but he was always sincere. He may have been lonely, but he never stopped giving. He may have closed doors, but he opened the hearts of millions. Michael Jackson is no longer with us, but the second floor of Neverland, the creative heart of his world, still echoes in every beat, in every moonwalk, in every child's laughter. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Paris finally chose to speak. So we'd understand. Michael wasn't hiding. He was creating for all of us.